Hello and welcome back to another Coriander Quilt Saturday. Today we have a brand new $5 pattern of the month for March. It's March 1st. Who believes that it's already March 1st? It has really snuck right up on us. Although our weather today, as I am filming this, is beautiful here in Ohio, so I am starting to believe that spring may well be on its way. We had a whole little herd of robins out in our backyard, which was nice. Although we've had them all winter long, so that wasn't an unusual sight to see, but it always is nice to see more and more of the birds filling the backyard. So new $5 pattern for March. We've got new viewer quilts to share, and I am going to be filling you in on my February progress on that works in progress challenge that we're doing this year. Do you think I got that done or not? You'll have to stick around to find out. We are going to start with a viewer quilt share. I have several fun projects that were sent in to me by some of you, and so let's just take a look at some of these. This first quilt was sent in by Miriam M, and she says, just finished your pattern Joy Filled that I picked up at my local quilt shop, Quiltworks in Rockwall, Texas. I used a miscellaneous yellow and cobalt blue bundle that they had on sale and a few fabrics from my own stash. I really enjoy your YouTube channel and the Saturday videos. Thanks for producing those. I thought this was a perfect quilt to share this week after we saw Joy-Filled blocks in progress last week, as well as my completed Joy-Filled quilt. Now you get to see a Joy-Filled quilt top, and so that just was a perfect little segue from last week. Amy Z sent in several photos saying, "Hi Cori, I saw you were sharing quilts with your fabric on your Saturday videos. I really enjoy seeing them and thought I'd share a few I made. I absolutely love your sun-washed fabric, so I got a fat eighth bundle and made the fruitcake pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. And then I used the leftovers to try out their sunburst foundation paper. And because I love to use up every little scrap, I'm now combining the last bits of your sun-washed fabric with a few others to make a scrappy version of Camille Roskellie's Rosie pattern. I have so loved playing with this fabric. Thanks for all your patterns and videos." You have made good use of that fat eighth bundle with all of those projects that you made using Sunwashed. Well done. I also pulled some of my sunburst paper. For those of you not familiar with this foundation paper, this is what those pads look like, and that was a fun little trial photo that we got to see there using Sunwashed. Alyssa D sent over photos of her Like a Charm quilt, and she said, I haven't been able to quilt this yet, but I wanted to share my Like a Charm quilt with Callie & Co. I was a little concerned about changing the sashing and border, but I do love it. Thanks for sharing your Saturday morning with me and for designing such beautiful fabrics for our quilting habits. I thought that turned out so bright and sunshiny. I always enjoy yellow in quilts. I very seldom have a fabric line that doesn't include yellow. I think it's just so sunshiny and happy, and definitely ranks up there with one of my favorite colors. My girls asked me just recently, I think it was Eleni, she said, what is your favorite color? And I don't know what my favorite color would be. It's much easier for me to think of a color that I would say is my least favorite. I think I could pick that one out pretty easily, but as far as picking a favorite, I'm not sure. Yellow ranks up there, but I also love really pretty corals. I think those are really nice. What's your favorite? Leave that in the comments. Let us know what your favorite colors are. But that yellow in this Like a Charm quilt I thought was so pretty. It just gives it such a nice spring sunshiny feeling. Judy G sent in a photo of the bespoke quilt she made. She said, I had been looking for a bicycle-themed quilt idea. When I saw your bespoke pattern, I knew this was the one. I made an aqua and white quilt using your pattern for my youngest, who works at a bike repair shop and is part of a biking team. I machine quilted it myself on my Juki TL. I made it a square quilt because I liked the way it looked with a wheel block in each corner. It was a hit. Thank you. Isn't that clever that she used that pattern for someone who really liked biking? I had never considered that that pattern has that vibe to it, but when you see Judy's quilt, you can definitely see how that would work well for someone who enjoys biking. I thought that was so clever. Becky M. sent in this beautiful sun-washed pillow that she made. She said, I discovered coriander quilts about 10 years ago. I had purchased a Jolly Bar and a few fat quarters from the Sundrops and Lulu Lane collections. About that time, your new flour mill line was coming out and I wanted it so bad. I was running short on my quilting budget and didn't think I'd be able to get my hands on it when I ran across a post saying you were having a pillow contest and the prize was a bundle of flour mill. Oh yes, and hallelujah. I pulled out that Jolly Bar, made some adorable tiny blocks for a pillow top, and did the happy dance when that prize bundle arrived on my doorstep. Needless to say, I've been a fangirl ever since. I need to tell you all that I am just as big of a fangirl of Becky. She sewed many sample projects for me over the years, and I am missing having her as a sample maker still. She just does wonderful work. Her projects are always so pretty, and I always enjoy seeing what Becky is working on. So when her message popped into my inbox, I was excited to see her project. Her projects are just so pretty. And that is actually the last project share that I have to share today. I have a bunch more waiting in line, just waiting to show to you in upcoming episodes, so I can't wait to share more of those. As always, if you have projects you would like to share, see the description box below the video for details on how to get those photos to us so that we can share those here for you. Let's chat about the $5 pattern of the month. For this month, I have decided to offer my Positively Charming pattern for $5. You're going to find it over in my Etsy shop in either PDF or paper formats. And this is a charm pack friendly quilt. It's a smaller quilt. It's going to finish at about 51 inches by 59.5 inches. But just the charm pack, a bit of background fabric, binding, backing, and batting. And this is a fairly simple quilt to piece. A fun one if you have just one charm pack that you're just not quite sure what you want to do with and you want just a small project. You could always make this quilt bigger if you wanted to add borders or additional blocks. Let me hold this up and show you what it looks like. This original sample here was made using coriander colors. And I'm going to show you in just a bit what this looks like using other fabric lines. Typically, I share these over on my website, but I've decided that we're going to try tucking them into the video today and see how that works out. But this is what it looks like in coriander colors. Let me lay this on the table so you can take a peek at the quilting on it. I will also link to the Coriander Colors trunk show video where I shared all of the quilt patterns for this fabric line. Those are the videos where I talk in more detail about the quilting, the binding choice, the backing choice, and all of those details. So if you wanted to see a bit more and hear a bit more about this quilt, make sure to watch that video. Now, let me pop some pictures up. Well, Ryan is going to pop some pictures up on the screen while I talk just a little bit about some options for making Positively Charming in some other fabric lines. You could probably still purchase a charm pack of coriander colors in quilt shops. This is a newer fabric line. It hasn't been out for that long, so I think you could probably still find charm packs. But I also wanted to show you what it would look like using some different things. So this first quilt that you are seeing on the screen is made using a bloom fabrics with a solid white background. This quilt does have quite a bit of white space, as you can see. And so I would suggest using a white on white or even just a print with a little bit of something special for your background. And I pulled my bloom color cards here so that you could see what options come within the bloom collection. This fabric line comes out, I'm gonna slide this out of the way here. A bloom comes out next month in April. I can't believe I say next month already. So it's going to be in quilt shops soon. I do have a fabric share video where you can see all of the fabrics in a bloom in more detail, but for the purposes of this video, I wanted to just focus here on these whites, and then we're gonna focus a little bit more on these dark grays as well. So if I were making Positively Charming using a bloom fabrics with a white background, I would be inclined to consider maybe a little rosebud print, like this print right here. I think that would be beautiful. If you want just a little bit of a print, I would suggest the white on white tonal for this collection. I'll show you what that looks like. It's just this really pretty tossed flower print. It is the same print as this print right here. So this is the white on white version, same as this print here. And I think that would be very pretty if you wanted just a little bit for your background. The other print that I think would be very nice is the light gray, that same print, but with the light gray on the white. I think that would be very pretty. This print is going to be super versatile, and you can use this for so many different backgrounds. So that is the white background version. I also wanted to see what it would look like using a dark background. So this next photo that you're seeing uses that sketch print that I was just chatting about, but in the darkest gray in the Bloom collection. And I think this is really striking. I think this is probably the direction I would go if I were making this in a Bloom. I would just go for that dark background, and I just love the way that looks. Now, one change that I made on this mock-up is that I took out some of the darker grays and substituted them with some of the lighter prints in the collection. To do that, if you were making the Positively Charming pattern, you would want to pull out the dark gray prints that are in the charm pack and substitute those for some of the lighter prints. And an easy way would be to purchase just maybe 2 or 3 additional 1/8 yard cuts of fabric. Most quilt shops, at least in-person quilt shops, your local quilt shops, will cut 1/8 yard cuts. So if that is an option for you, by purchasing just a couple extra cuts of those, you could swap those fabrics out for the darker fabrics. So I would pick up some of the lighter prints, maybe some of these, or some of these lighter pinky colors. Even the aquas look really pretty against that dark gray. Just purchase just a little bit of extra yardage from some of those lighter prints to swap out. And then you have plenty of contrast against the sketchy print in a Bloom. I also mocked up what this quilt would look like using Callie & Co. with a white background. This looks very similar in color to the Coriander Colors version that I shared earlier. This guy right here. Very similar to this color palette. But of course you have all of those beautiful little floral prints from Callie & Co. Just the tiny little, I just love Callie & Co. It's got the best little florals in there, so it really lets you highlight all of those pretty little flowers in the collection. And for that one, I do think a solid white background works really well. Now, another thing I would probably do is I would swap out solid white and use the little ditzy floral print from Coriander Seeds. I am going to link to where I shared photos of that in video and also over on my blog, because those white on whites that are in Coriander Seeds, it's a basic, they're available all the time. You can always purchase those in your local quilt shops. And that little ditzy print is in Callie & Co. and it works beautifully with the white on white, having that white on white option. So that is the Callie & Co. And then I wanted to do something completely different. So the last picture that you are seeing is made using sandalwood, which is by 3 sisters. And I wanted to see what that would look like with a dark background. So these fabrics are newly in stores. I think they've been out for just a couple months. And I chose just a dark gray to offset that warm palette. Now, I don't have a specific Motabella solid gray shade that I would suggest using to go with these sandalwood fabrics. This would be something that I would need to see in person to be able to recommend just that exact perfect gray. But you can see how nice all of the colors in that line look against a dark gray. So I think that would be a very striking quilt as well. And those fabrics give it a little bit more of a traditional sense, which I think is really pretty. Some of my first quilts were made using 3 Sisters fabrics, and I still find them to be very very pretty. And they kind of strike that beautiful balance between traditional and modern and just kind of float happily there in the middle. So that is the last option that I thought might be kind of fun to see. So again, those are Positively Charming mock-ups done in various fabric lines. This is the $5 pattern over in my Etsy shop for the month of March. And if you have any questions about the pattern or any of the mock-ups that I shared, feel free to leave those for me in the comments and I will do my best to answer those. Now, the last thing I'm sharing today is about pesky number 11. There it is, number 11. If you watched the video where I chose my number 11 for the Works in Progress Challenge, you know my feelings about number 11 and how eagerly I was awaiting the privilege of finishing up this work in progress. I was not excited. I maintained that status for the whole month, and my blocks maintained their same status as well. I didn't sew on it at all. I thought that I might. I had big plans, and then it was a day when I could have worked on it, and I just didn't want to. And then I thought, even if I do finish it, I don't need another one of these. I already have a Cuddle Up sampler quilt. I don't need another one. And so here it sits. I'll link to that video, so if you don't know what quilt I'm talking about, you'll have a visual rather than just my incomplete stack of blocks. But I thought, I just don't want another one of these. I could finish it, then I'd have to get it quilted, I'd have to bind it, and I wasn't looking forward to any of those steps, none of them. So this is going to be a giveaway, and I am going to give it away to one of you who might have more excitement about finishing this project than I do. And if you think, oh my goodness, Cori, I would love to have your Cuddle Up sampler blocks. I think the quilt is beautiful, but I don't want to tackle the whole project. But having completed blocks is something you do want to do. You can head over to my blog. I'm going to have a giveaway post up today. I'm going to run the giveaway through next Friday, which is March 7th. So you can enter through next Friday by leaving a comment on the giveaway post, and I will contact you from there. So when you enter the giveaway, you leave your email, which gives me a way to contact the winner. So if you are the winner, you'll receive an email from me letting you know, and I will announce the winner. Let's see, so next Saturday is the 8th. I will announce the winner on the 15th, which would be 2 weeks from today, March 1st. I'll announce that on my blog. So the winner will be announced on my blog, and I will also be contacting the winner directly via their email. So there she is. There she is. And that is how I am going to check this project off of my list, by moving it onto one of you, which is fine. I had mentioned, if you watched that Works in Progress video, that sometimes I do just give away projects that are in the works, because they might not be something I'm interested in finishing, or if I know it's not something I'm necessarily going to gift or use, you might as well just send it on its way and let somebody else use it and somebody else enjoy it. And that is exactly what's happening here today. So as soon as I decided that's what I was going to do, it just really, it took a load off my mind. I no longer had to think, I don't want to work on that. I don't. Anyhow. So I'm excited to send that on to somebody else and not have that project hanging over my head. All right, we're going to do better with today's pick. I can guarantee it, because it's not going to be number 11. For those of you who have made a Cuddle Up sampler or are in the process of making a Cuddle Up sampler, I am certainly not making it sound very exciting, but I really enjoyed piecing my first one. And I actually really enjoyed piecing all of these blocks along with all of you this past fall. I have the blocks because we had the sew along and I was sewing along with everybody. And I really did enjoy that. It was fun. So if you are in process of making one, I think you'll find it enjoyable, and it's just simply because I don't need 2 of them. And I'm just not that excited about finishing a second one. So on to someone else it goes. All right, I'm going to choose. What's it going to be? This one right here. Is that just one paper? Here we go. Okay, this one. Number 8, which says send off a quilt top viewer's pick. So this means I need to go grab some quilt tops. Okay, so we're going to do a little and I'm going to go choose some quilt tops, and then you are going to pick which one you want me to send off to my quilter. And this is a perfect project. I couldn't have picked better because my schedule is so full right now, and this is an easy one to finish. So pause, I'll be right back. And I'm back. I have so many quilt tops over on my little quilt top stack. I could have chosen quite a few for you guys to pick from, but I think I chose 4. I've got 4 here. Okay, so it's viewer's choice. Whichever quilt top gets the most picks. I don't know by what date, sometime within the next, I don't know, week or two, probably. Whichever quilt top has the most picks, that's the one I'm going to send off. So get your vote in, and we'll see which one it is. I don't know if I'll have this completed by Works in Progress Day in April, but hopefully by the next one. We'll see what happens. We'll see how fast I get this out. So first up, we have my scrappy Irish chain. So you remember we had the scrappy Irish chain along where we were all sewing on our scrappy Irish chains, and I finished my top and never got it sent out. So this one's fun. I'd love to have it done. I don't have any big plans for this one, but needs to be done. It's just a scrappy mix of lots of my fabric lines, and I love this big sketchy print. This was in Beautiful Day, and I would love to have this one finished. So scrappy Irish chain. If your vote is scrappy Irish chain, that's this quilt right here. I should do this every month. Have you guys choose a quilt top for me to send out. Probably get them done a little faster. Okay, so there's that one. Next up, some of you saw this quilt top. This was a quilt top that I found in one of my local thrift stores. And I was pretty tickled to find it because it's one of my patterns and it's made up with a lot of my fabrics. So it's this little spools quilt. So this one I just need to finish, and then I have plans to donate it. And it's just a happy little spools quilt. I'll link to the video where I showed this one and chatted about it. Sometimes there's just some really good finds at some of my thrift stores. We have some really good ones, but I'd love to get this one finished. I think it's really pretty. And it was such a fun find. Not a cheap find. I didn't pay a thrift store price for this quilt top. The shop knew the value of the quilt top, which was wonderful, but definitely one that I was excited to thrift and bring home. So spools. If spools is your pick for me to finish, that's this one here. Next up, I grabbed one of my Calliope quilt tops. I have several of these Calliope quilts that are quilt top format and need to be finished. So Calliope is a free pattern over on my website. This is the version I made using solids, and then that polka dot print is from Coriander Colors. And I think this one would be really pretty to finish. Quilting always looks so nice and striking on solids, so I think it could be really fun. This is another one that'll be donated. They're a really nice size for just little throws if you need to make something kind of quick. It's not a tricky pattern, and they come together pretty quickly, and it's just such a nice throw-sized quilt. So Calliope is the name of this one, if this is the one you want me to finish. And then the last one, you saw that bespoke quilt during the viewer quilt share portion of this video. And I actually have one quilt top using bespoke that I need to get quilted also. So I pulled that one. This is bespoke, made using scrappy low volumes. Well, they're all from Callie & Co., but it has a little bit of a scrappy feeling. And then a dark gray background. That dark gray is one of the fabrics from Robin Pickens' Thatched line of basics. And then you heard me talking about that ditzy white print from Callie & Co. earlier in the video. It's actually this print right here. and it's the same print as this one here. So these are all Cali & Co. low volume prints. And then this white on white, which is the same print as this one, is from Coriander Seeds. So you can get this white on white from your quilt shops as well. So if you want me to finish up this one is Bespoke. Bespoke. Those are your 4 choices. So Scrappy Irish Chain, Bespoke, Calliope, or the Spools. Let me know in the comments which one of those I should finish. And this is such a fun and easy way for me to get another project ticked off my list. Who knows, maybe I'll decide to send another one along with whichever one you guys choose, just to check 2 extra quilt tops off my list. So number 8 is the project we are working on this month. If you are joining in on the Works in Progress Challenge, that's your number. Let me know how you did on your number 11s. Did you have better success than I did? I still count mine as a success because it's going to be done and someone is going to be enjoying it. And that is a successful quilt in my book. So I count this giveaway as a success. Let me know how your month went. If you checked things off or if you didn't. No worries if you didn't. We've always got other months that we can work on things if we want to. So I thank you so much for stopping by, and I will catch you again next time.